If you haven't yet signed up to my new must-read newsletter, the Brexiteer Bulletin, I will put a link down below in the description of this video and in the top pinned comment. It's my new must-read newsletter. I would really appreciate it if you go and check it out. The latest edition is about the government having lost control of the Rwanda policy and the need to leave the ECHR. Do go and check that out. Well, good to see a leadership candidate actually talk about the huge scale of net migration into the UK. Amazing, isn't it? As I've repeatedly highlighted, the YouGov polling shows for Conservative and Leave voters, immigration and asylum is now the number 2 issue behind only the economy. So far, I've only seen mainstream media ask about illegal migration, you know, the odd question here and there about Rwanda. But of course, we know legal net migration is still running deep into the hundreds of thousands. And every time we see a TV report about NHS waiting lists or the housing crisis, and they don't mention the huge population increase this country is seeing, fueled mostly by mass migration, well, you have to draw your own conclusions as to why they leave that detail out. What we do know from the latest data is the ONS report. On Census Day, the 21st of March 2021, we saw the largest population ever recorded in England and Wales. And this isn't an even spread. Between 2011 and 2021, the population of Wales only grew by 1.4%. In England, it was 6.6%, almost 3.5 million in a decade. Approximately 2 million of that, 57.5% of that, but due to net migration. Well, don't forget, previous Conservative leaders, David Cameron being one, pledged to bring net migration down to the tens of thousands. Quoted at the time in 2010 as saying, in the last decade, net immigration in some years has been sort of 200,000, so implying a 2 million increase over a decade, which he said he thought was too much. He said, like to see net immigration in the tens of thousands rather than the hundreds of thousands, saying he didn't think that was unrealistic. And he said that's the sort of figure it was in the 1990s, and I think we should see that again. Of course, David Cameron completely failed because the UK was in the EU with open borders. You then had Theresa May also stick to that pledge of net migration at below 100,000 a year. Again, completely failed to deliver. It seems bizarre to me that post-Brexit, now that a Conservative Prime Minister has got control of this to bring these numbers down to the tens of thousands, they simply haven't at all. They got nowhere near it, in fact. But Kemi Badenoch is at least talking about this. As I said, it seems quite bizarre to me that throughout this Conservative leadership contest so far, much of the media has ignored this issue completely, and the candidates, from what I've seen, haven't addressed it at all until now. And Kemi Badenoch, who of course has huge momentum in this race, in an article for The Telegraph, saying we need to consider the demand side of housing, not just the supply side, pointing out that people rightly recognise that building more homes while doing nothing to bring immigration down is like running up the down escalator, saying we'll never get to where we need to with that approach, and we won't persuade people to accept more homes if it is being done due to immigration failures. And she says if we can bring immigration down to a sustainable level, we can then protect green spaces for our children and precious agricultural land, saying and so controlling immigration is important to managing the pressures it puts on housing and public services. Building confidence in the government's ability to control immigration, she says, is an important foundation to ensuring a cohesive society. I couldn't agree more. As I said, I think bringing net migration down to the tens of thousands be incredibly popular. Kemi Badenoch is at least talking about this issue now and seems to have the intention to cut net migration if she does become Prime Minister. But as I said, much of mainstream media and the other candidates from what I've seen haven't talked about this issue at all. Let me know what you make of what Kemi Badenoch had to say there. Do you agree with her? Does this make you more likely to support her? Let me know in the comments below, guys. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.